You made it about Lil Baby, bro. It's not Lil Baby, baby. What the hell, bro? And nobody was going with it.
Doing like
I said, I was like, I want to take accountability for all the girls that was following that because I made everything look cool. That was just me in survival mode. For real, and not like taking it through or setting back or...
Welcome back to Juicy Real, where the tea is always steaming hot and the drama never sleeps. We dig up the stories that others are too scared to touch, and today's scoop will leave you shook. Now, Chrisean Rock just dropped an accusation so wild, it makes all the messy back and forth with Blueface look like child's play.
With Lil Baby, though, was Lil Baby trying to fuck?
Blueface wasn't trying to...
I know I wasn't asking about Blueface, I was asking about Lil Baby.
I'm saying, like, it don't start like that.
In the middle of fighting for her baby, crying on live, and clapping back at Blueface, Chrissy suddenly claimed that Lil Baby was plotting to sell her off to his rich sugar daddy for threesomes.
she missed the flight. I get on the flight at 5 a.m. by myself. Haven't heard from her. Then the next day, she at a Lil Baby restaurant leaving taste test reviews. I'm like, this what you...
Yeah, you heard that right. She said it was a straight-up setup where she was supposed to be the product. Explosive doesn't even begin to cover it. And let's keep it real. This didn't just pop out of thin air. For months, Blueface has been weirdly obsessed with tying Chrissy's name to Lil Baby. He's accused her of sneaking around with him, dragged Lil Baby into their constant arguments, and even name-dropped him in tracks like he's part of the chaos. So when Chrissy finally snapped and threw this bombshell out there, the internet didn't know how to react. Some fans laughed it off, saying she was just stirring the pot. Others were like, wait a second, this might explain why Blueface has been so insecure about Lil Baby all along. And honestly, if there's even a little truth in what she's saying, it's beyond disturbing. We're talking way past drama. This is straight exploitation. The fact that Chrissy felt she had to air all of this out in the middle of a heated custody war makes it hit 1,000 times harder. And trust me, this is just the beginning of the madness. So don't blink because things are getting darker by the second. Before Chrissy ever dropped that wild accusation about Lil Baby, the chaos with Blueface was already spiraling out of control.
If I'm intoxicated and I beat your ass, nobody's gonna say anything about me gaslighting, about me intoxicated, about what you did. They're gonna say no. Blue couldn't control himself. He got out of his emotions and her up, send him to jail. It's a double standard.
It's not a double standard.
You're an idiot.
If I get mad just like
You're an idiot.
No, now you're trying to say I do it first.
You do.
All the time.
You do.
Right after she gave birth, instead of stepping up as a father and showing support, Blueface jumped online, blasting her on Twitter like it was a game. He straight up called her selfish and even threatened to snatch custody of their newborn son. Can you imagine that kind of drama right after giving birth? He literally tweeted, "If she don't take my son serious and make that her main focus and priority for at least 30 days, I will file for custody. My kid not finna be molested and touched on like everybody in her family, dead homies. I don't play them type of games." That wasn't just some heated rant. That was Blueface practically announcing to the whole world that he was ready to drag her into court while the baby was barely out of the hospital. The timing alone was savage. But here's where things get even messier. In the middle of all that, Blueface just couldn't let go of the Lil Baby narrative. He kept accusing Chrissy of sneaking around, saying she cared more about industry connections than raising their child. One of their ugliest fights even exploded because he thought she was spending time with Lil Baby right before she gave birth.
You're cute on that phone thing. I like that. You gave me a compliment. But that's the only flirt that he was really giving me the right thing. He was just like, yo, you emotional. What are you doing? That's for
searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be
So then,
Talk about paranoia on a whole new level. Chrissy later went live, bawling her eyes out and screaming, "You made it about Lil Baby, bro." This is not Lil Baby's baby. And watching her break down like that, it really showed how deep Blueface's insecurities and suspicions had dug into their relationship. It wasn't just about parenting, it was about control, jealousy, and his obsession with dragging Lil Baby into their mess. From the jump, this custody battle was stamped with Lil Baby's name in bold letters. And trust me, it only set the stage for even crazier twists to come.
If me and anybody got beef, why the first thing y'all try to say anything is about my son? My son got nothing to do with this argument. My son or my got nothing to do with our argument. Go toe to toe with me. Stop trying to throw up shit, because I can throw up your
While Blueface was out here firing off wild tweets, Chrissy decided to take matters into her own hands. And instead of posting some cute clapback, she went live and completely broke down in tears. This wasn't the loud, trolling Chrissy that people are used to seeing online. This was raw, shaky, and honestly heartbreaking to watch. She kept repeating over and over that nobody was ever going to take her baby away. The pain in her voice was chilling. In one emotional clip, you can literally hear her crying out again and again, "Nobody's taking my baby away." That line hit people deep because, whether you're a fan of Chrissy or not, everybody saw how brutal her pregnancy was, the constant fights, the stress, the non-stop chaos. She carried all of that while still bringing her son into the world. So when she's sobbing about protecting him, that's coming straight from a place of love and desperation. The comments section lit up instantly. Some fans were moved, calling it powerful to see her fighting so hard for her baby. One even wrote that they hope her family steps up to help her get all the custody paperwork together because it's clear she truly loves that child and maybe finally found the kind of love she's been chasing all along. Others called it a moment of strength, encouraging her to keep God first and reminding her that she's not alone. So many women have been through battles just like this. No matter which side people stood on, one thing was clear. This wasn't just drama for the internet anymore. This was a mother laying her heart bare, terrified of losing the only person who means everything to her. But one thing became crystal clear after that live. Chrissy was done staying quiet while everybody else tried to control her story. She wasn't gonna let Blueface spin the narrative anymore. And right in the middle of all this chaos, Lil Baby finally snapped after being dragged into their circus for months. And when he spoke up, oh, he didn't sound playful. He sounded fed up and done. Lil Baby jumped on Twitter and shut it down real quick. He wrote, "I ain't with the trolling. I be laughing at certain stuff, but right now, stop playing. I ain't never tried to talk to no Chrisean. Please stop attaching my name to that." You could feel the irritation jumping off the screen. And then he doubled down with another tweet, making it even clearer. "I seen her at a party and told her some real stuff. She know I never tried to talk to her. I know I bring attention, but Chrisean, even trolling about a child and stuff is too far. Thanks." That wasn't just denial. That was frustration on full display. Lil Baby was basically begging everybody to stop dragging his name into their messy situation. And that's saying a lot, because Lil Baby almost never addresses internet drama. He usually stays low-key, minding his business. But this time, he had enough. Fans wasted no time dissecting his words. Some argued this proved once and for all that he had zero connection to Chrissy, that Blueface was just reaching. Others pointed out that the fact he even had to clear it up showed just how nasty the drama had gotten. Either way, Lil Baby wanted no parts of that messy storyline, but here's where it got even wilder. The second Lil Baby cleared the air, Chrissy was right there, ready to snatch the moment and flip it back into her spotlight. the saga wasn't ending anytime soon. Instead of letting Lil Baby's denial close the book, Chrissy flipped the whole situation on its head and used it as proof she'd been telling the truth all along. She hopped online and wrote, "See? He finally said it. Facts. Told y'all I've been attached to his name because my baby daddy insecure as hell. Someone tell Blue he can stop trolling me." That was Chrissy in her purest form, messy, bold, and low-key triumphant. She wasn't just relieved that Lil Baby cleared the air, she was gloating like, "Look! I wasn't lying, it was Blue making all this up in his own head." And then she doubled down, tweeting, "I'm done trolling. I just needed Lil Baby to clear the air, 'cause my baby daddy gave me hell over a dude and won't believe me about anything." You could almost hear the mix of exhaustion and victory in her tone. It sounded like a sigh of relief mixed with a victory lap. But here's the catch. Even though Lil Baby denied the rumors, Chrissy's way of spinning it kept the fire burning. She wasn't ready to move on. Oh no, she was using his very words as ammo to drag Blueface through the mud all over again. The drama didn't die down, it only got heavier. And just when people thought it couldn't get any wilder, Chrissy took it to a whole new level of disturbing. She claimed Lil Baby wasn't just some random name tied to her drama. She said he was actually trying to sell her off to his rich sugar daddy for threesomes. According to her, Lil Baby was lining her up like a business deal, like she was supposed to be the entertainment in some wealthy man's bedroom. That accusation didn't just stir the pot, it flipped the whole table over. And let's be real, this isn't the kind of accusation you just pull out of thin air. The way Chrissy said it, with all that raw emotion and anger, it felt like something she'd been holding back for a long time. In that moment, she flat out brought up Lil Baby, saying he complimented her in a way that didn't feel innocent at all. And that's what made people stop scrolling and actually listen. Not gonna lie, I can see why some folks actually believed her. Because when you line up the timing, Blueface's obsession with Lil Baby suddenly makes a whole lot more sense. If he really knew something shady was happening behind the scenes, no wonder he kept dragging Lil Baby's name every chance he got. And let's be honest, the way Lil Baby got so defensive in those tweets, that didn't exactly calm the suspicion either. If anything, it kept people talking even louder. This wasn't just your average baby mama drama anymore. If what Chrissy is saying is even halfway true, then we're talking about something way darker. Straight exploitation. And that's disturbing on a completely different level. No wonder her sugar daddy claim shook the internet to its core. The second Chrissy dropped that bomb, the internet split in two. Some fans said she was going way too far and needed to chill. Others swore she was finally pulling the curtain back on something real. But either way, the comment sections were loud. One fan even wrote, "You gotta get it together." If it's not true, move on and ignore him. But that's the real issue. Chrissy can't just ignore it, because Blueface keeps pushing the narrative, and now Lil Baby's name is stamped all over it too. No matter where she turns, she's trapped in the middle of a storm that just won't stop brewing. And let's be honest, when the drama's tied to accusations this dark, moving on isn't as simple as hitting a block button. Another fan even jumped in with some tough love, writing, "Stop letting that clown mess with your mental, ma. He's miserable, and wants you miserable too. He wants attention and wants to feel like he's important. Don't allow it. Every time you let him mess with you, he's controlling you and dragging you down another notch. Stop allowing it, baby." Not gonna lie, that one hit hard, because if you read between the lines, it wasn't just about Blueface anymore. Fans were starting to lump Lil Baby into the same toxic category. Men trying to control her, manipulate her, or even exploit her. That's exactly why the sugar daddy allegation couldn't just be brushed off. people started seeing a pattern, and a lot of them were sick of watching her spiral in the middle of it all. Then came the flood of fans practically begging her to just walk away. "Leave him alone. Focus on the baby," became one of the most repeated comments. It showed just how exhausted the audience was with all the non-stop chaos. But at the same time, it also highlighted the saddest part of the situation, because for Chrissy, it's not that simple. If what she's saying about Lil Baby is even halfway true, then walking away isn't just about protecting her peace. It's about protecting her son from growing up in a world where his own mother is treated like property. That's not just drama, that's survival. And that's why the fan reactions split into two solid camps. One side calling for her to leave the mess behind, and the other convinced she's finally exposing something too real to ignore. On one side, you had people clowning Chrissy, telling her to move on already. But on the other side, you had whispers that maybe, just maybe, she was telling the truth about how deep this exploitation really runs. And the reason so many fans didn't just laugh off her sugar daddy claim is because they've already seen her stuck in the same toxic cycle of exploitation with Blueface himself. Let's be real, their whole relationship has been one giant loop of abuse that everyone can spot by now. First comes the love bombing. After every messy fight, Blue will suddenly post her up like a trophy, buy her something shiny, or shower her with queen energy. And just like clockwork, Chrissy falls right back in, defending him online, telling everyone that nobody understands their bond. That's the honeymoon phase. The hook that keeps her tied down. Then comes the tension building. You know the vibes, the little shady digs in interviews, the subliminal tweets, the back-and-forth IG lives dripping with passive-aggressive energy. Fans can always feel it creeping in because they know what's coming next. And sure enough, it always explodes. The fights spill out into the streets. The screaming matches go viral on Instagram Live. The cops end up getting called. All the stuff that should be taken seriously, but instead gets packaged up as just drama for clicks. It's the same cycle on repeat, and the internet eats it up every time. And this right here, this is exactly what it looks like when that tension finally boils over, caught on camera, raw and messy, for the whole world to see. Nobody can say they didn't see the pattern, because it plays out in front of us like a broken record every single time. After that explosion always comes the same tired routine, the justification and denial. Blueface flips the script, calls Chrissy crazy, and paints her as the problem. Meanwhile, Chrissy, broken down and drained, ends up blaming herself, saying he's just misunderstood. That right there is textbook gaslighting, the kind that turns abuse into a spectacle, dressed up as passion for the public to consume. And here's Blueface himself, flat out calling Chrissy crazy and claiming she overreacts, like the whole world can't see the pattern with their own eyes. Then comes the reset. They get back together, sometimes for the baby, sometimes out of loyalty, sometimes just because that toxic pull won't let them cut ties. And just like that, the same cycle spins again while fans sit front row, watching the train wreck restart from the beginning. Not gonna lie, when you lay that whole pattern side by side with what Chrissy is now claiming about Lil Baby, it doesn't sound so far-fetched at all. If she's already been publicly treated like property, tossed around in fights, mocked in headlines, humiliated online, then why wouldn't she believe another man in the industry could be trying to use her the same way? You can't tell me that doesn't make her story hit differently. Because once you've seen her trapped in Blueface's toxic loop, it's not hard to imagine her being exploited outside of it too. And that's exactly what makes the industry's silence around her sugar daddy accusation so disturbing. As shocking as her claim is, people don't know whether to believe her. And that's all because of her messy reputation. It's a dangerous mix of truth, doubt, and drama, and it's leaving everybody uneasy. Let's be real. Chrissy has built a whole name for herself off pure chaos. The fights, the crying lives, the explosive meltdowns. Fans have seen it all play out like a never-ending reality show. So when she comes forward with something this serious, there's always that crowd rolling their eyes saying, she's just being dramatic again. But here's the twist. Even in the middle of all that chaos, there are moments where Chrissy looks way too raw, way too broken to just brush off. That live where she was sobbing about her baby, that wasn't trolling. That was straight pain pouring out of her. And when she later turned around and said Lil Baby tried to set her up for his sugar daddy, the way she said it didn't sound like clout chasing. It sounded like a desperate plea for somebody to actually listen. That's what makes this whole mess so complicated. On one side, you've got her wild history making people doubt her every word. But on the other, you've got cold, hard receipts of how Blueface has treated her, receipts that prove she's been used, controlled, and humiliated in public before. So when she says another man in the industry tried to exploit her, can we really say it's impossible? If anything, it sounds exactly like the kind of dirty secret nobody in the industry wants to admit out loud. And that's where the real tension sits. Because if Chrissy is telling the truth, then this isn't just Blueface drama, and it's not just baby mama mess. This is a superstar rapper allegedly trying to pass her off to his rich sugar daddy for threesomes. And if that's real, the industry's silence speaks volumes. Nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to confirm it. But that silence says everything. So don't get too comfortable, because the way Chrissy keeps talking, it feels like she's not done exposing people yet. And the next thing she drops could be even uglier. Make sure you subscribe to Juicy Reel right now, because trust me, you don't want to miss what explodes next.